My career, all my work since I was a kid makes sense now for this moment. So just high emotions. I remember myself after the final crying there in the chair because it's a lot of time spending hours and hours there to arrive to that moment.
It heralded an unbelievable run on clay for Nadal, as he won 4 Roland Garros titles in a row, remaining unbeaten for 81 matches on the surface. His opponent in the 2006, 2007 and 2008 finals was Roger Federer.
He's been, quite unbelievable. He's never lost here. Even though he maybe should have, because he didn't play the first 2 times he had a chance because he was injured. But I think his record is phenomenal, and at his age to be so consistent, it's very nice to see. Of course, comes with some victims. I was one of them. 4 times now, once in the semis, 3 in the finals, and I wish I would have maybe had a chance to play someone else in the finals once, but that's what I like about this challenge with Rafa. He's the best on clay for the last few years, and it seems like if you want to win the French Open, it goes through him.
If Rafa was the king of clay, Federer was the man on grass. The Swiss hadn't lost at Wimbledon since 2003 and appeared unbeatable on the All England club's turf. Rafa's first appearance at Wimbledon had been 2003, when he reached the 3rd round, but many said his game was not suited to the faster surface. No Spaniard had won Wimbledon in 40 years. Rafa was determined to buck the trend.
With this mentality that only champions have, little by little, he began to improve on hard courts and grass.
Working tirelessly to improve his technique, his stamina, his all-round athleticism. The hard work paid off, and in 2006, Nadal reached his first Wimbledon final. There was no surprise who his opponent was. Nadal had made great strides on grass, but Federer remained imperious. In 2007, they met again at Wimbledon, with Nadal taking the Swiss to 5 sets, but losing. Some doubted if he would ever be victorious at SW19.
We played a good final, 5 sets. 2007, I think, was a really good final too. It was the 5th set, he beat me, but I think it was a fantastic final.
It's such a prestigious tournament. Every player wants to win Wimbledon.
He wants to improve. He doesn't care about making records. He just wants to improve, and that's the key. I think is his mentality.
He's a great fighter who never gives up on any point or lost cause. He has the qualities that the great champions have, in so much that he knows what he has to do to overcome problems in the big matches.
Such a warrior. He has such a winner mentality, something that I never seen in tennis before. They say about Borg, probably I didn't know him when he was playing that well, but his mental part is something that I never seen before.
I think he improves, almost every day because he's still so young. So I'm not surprised at all to see him back in the finals and expect a real difficult match.
In 2008, Nadal met Federer in their 6th Grand Slam final.
2008 was, maybe you want to say that match because everybody all the time talked about that final. It was really emotional.
After another success at the French Open, Nadal returned to London and claimed his first victory at a grass court tournament, the Wimbledon warm-up event at Queen's Club. He went into the Wimbledon final on a 23-match winning run against a champion who hadn't dropped a set all tournament.
Seeing Bjorn in the royal box was great because either player could really be in tune with what Bjorn had accomplished and what they were trying to do. Roger was at 5 in a row, so he was trying to break Bjorn's record. And Rafa was trying to do something that Bjorn was the last guy to do in 1980, which is to win the French and Wimbledon the same year. I was anticipating a great match. I didn't expect the class that ended up taking place.
As the world watched, the 2 greatest players of their generation played out arguably the greatest match of tennis ever seen. Nadal drew first blood, winning the opening set 6-4. In the second set, despite dropping his serve early on, he broke back twice. With a stunning display of hitting, Nadal took the second set 6-4. A first Wimbledon title appeared a formality. But Federer was not a five-time champion for nothing. A rain delay added to the drama, and the Swiss kept one hand on his crown with a tie-break victory in the third set. With neither player willing to concede any ground, Wimbledon's centre court was treated to an epic. The fourth set also went to a tie-break. Nadal had championship point, but Federer denied him, not once, but twice. The greatest match was going to a fifth set.
2 sets down for 2 sets up for me. After 2 sets all, he played fantastic in the sets, and the fifth set was, I think, one of the more emotional sets that I played in my career, and probably I never gonna play another set with that emotions now, because after losing 2 finals in a row in Wimbledon, 2006, 2007, was that moment for me to try to win.
The British weather intervened again before Nadal and Federer re-emerged onto centre court. The 15th game of the fifth set was incredible, ebbing and flowing, before Nadal finally gained the break. He served out to claim victory after 4 hours and 48 minutes of tennis. Nadal's reaction showed just how much it meant.
6-4, 6-7, 6-7, 9-7.
Finally, Wimbledon always was my dream, so it was unforgettable. Almost every point from that last point, and was probably one of the biggest wins in my career.
Every era needs a great rivalry, and tennis perhaps went through a little bit of a transition stage early on in this millennium, where it didn't really have that rivalry that it sort of spanned the 70s, 80s and 90s, but it found it in Roger and Rafa, and we're very lucky to have it.
Their rivalry is fantastic for the game of tennis. It's saved tennis in many ways, because Roger was so good that he was in a league of his own, and the interest for tennis around the world was sparked up by this young Spanish kid coming in and beating Federer. Who's this kid and what can he do? Wow, he can't lose on clay. He's a machine, but he can only play on clay. And then all of a sudden, having won Wimbledon, it was unbelievable.
I became a fan of tennis again, of this beautiful sport with so much drama, so much up and down, and so much willpower involved, that I said, yeah, I'm happy to be here.
When he won that great final at Wimbledon, well, for me it was the greatest game of tennis I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I've played against him, I think, over 20 times in all the Grand Slam finals except the US Open, in many other finals as well, which we've had some amazing matches against each other.